Okay, so may you please say your name for the audio, please?
My name is Valerie Constien.
And so I'll be asking questions on behalf of the media today. Just remind the media, please write your questions in public chat. So Val, can you please walk me through your race today?
Yeah, sure. The gun went off and I just tried to get in a good position. So I wanted to just be in striking distance the whole time. And I tried to stay calm and get over the barriers as effortlessly as possible. And I really wanted it to be a low drama race. So I tried to stay out of other people's way and I tried to not step on anybody. And then with 3 laps to go, well, I guess 3.5 laps to go, Emma and Courtney took off and Leah went with them. And I knew that I couldn't keep that pace for 3 laps to go. And so I just decided that I was going to sit in 4th and be in a really good spot in case something happened. And then Leah, unfortunately, took a tumble with 400 to go, or 800. I'm not really sure, but Leah fell down at some point, and I kind of knew that that was my shot, that if I could capitalize on that mistake, that I'd have a better shot at beating her and making the team. And then with 400 meters to go, I just ran as hard as I possibly could. I had no idea where she was. I had no idea if she was on my shoulder or if I was pulling away. And I just gave it my all. And then with 100 meters to go, I still had no idea where she was. And I was just running as hard as I possibly could. And I crossed the finish line and I was in a lot of pain. And then it didn't really sink in until just recently, but I couldn't be happier.
I have a question, a direct message from Eric Bull from DieStat. How much did your 925 performance at the Portland Track Festival strengthen your belief that making this team could be possible tonight?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much after I had run that time, I had to switch my mindset. Instead of thinking, oh, it would be really cool to make it to the final, to then I just ran the A standard. If I'm top 3, I will go to Tokyo. And I don't know, it just seems like 3 weeks ago I woke up and decided I could do this. And so it was really fun, and goals change and dreams get bigger. And so I'm really happy that this has happened.
And then I have a question again from Eric. How much do you feel like you've grown in this event? And as an athlete overall, since your last steeplechase race for Colorado at the NCAAs in 2019?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, in college, I was never a shoe-in for anything. I was okay, but I was never really a top competitor ever in college. I was a 2-time steeplechase All-American, but I was never on the top of that podium. And college was really, really hard for a lot of reasons. And I think that now, as an adult out of college, I've been able to make a lot of really good decisions, and I've been able to positively change my life. And I think that I've just set everything up to make this possible in the last 2 years.
I have a question from Robert Johnson. Val, congratulations. In the middle of the race, you let Leia go. You were more than 2 seconds back with 2 laps remaining. Did you realize the pace increase was too hot?
Yeah, I did notice that they had picked it up a lot. And earlier this morning, my coach, Billy, called me on the phone, and he basically said, make this your race. Do whatever it takes to have it be your race. Stay in control the whole time and don't let external factors get in the way. And Mark and Heather basically told me the same thing. And I knew that if I just made it my own race, that I could do something great. And like I said, the fact that Leah fell down, I think was a big mix up because she had just as good of an opportunity as me. Breaks my heart to see that happen, but it's a part of racing. And I mean, I'm really, really happy to be here. And I think I earned it and I think I worked hard. But I think if Leah hadn't fallen down, I mean, she might be sitting in this seat.
When you train with Mark and Heather, against from Robert Johnson, how often do you do stuff with Jenny Simpson? Has she ever shown any interest in returning to the event where she used to have the American record? Has she ever given you any steeple tips?
Training with Jenny is amazing. She's not only a legend at CU, but she is a track legend in general. And to top it all off, she's like the nicest woman in the world. And she's really brought me under her wing in these last 2 years, and she's helped me out a lot. She was an amazing steeplechaser, and so she does sometimes give me advice in practice, or she'll just compliment me on my form, which is really, really great. Jenny and I do a lot of warm-ups and cool downs together, but because she was focusing on the 1500 this year, we didn't really do any workouts together beyond like longer distance stuff.
I have a question from Allison Wade. Was there any point in that race where you felt like a top 3 finish might not happen?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I did not think a top 3 finish was possible until Leah actually fell down. As soon as I saw her take a tumble, I knew that I had a really, really good opportunity. But people stand up and keep going. I mean, look at what Courtney did in the prelim. She took a tumble as well, and then she still made it through. So I just took my shot and it paid off.
Again, from Allison Wade, can you describe the last 2 laps of the race from your perspective?
Yeah, definitely. It was surreal. Everything that I had ever done in the past 2 years, I have done intentionally with those last 2 laps in mind. It's been a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice. And so in those last 2 laps, I really just had to remind myself that I deserve to be here just as much as anybody else. And the top 3 go. And I was the top 3. And so as soon as I realized that I had the opportunity, I just wasn't going to give it up. No part of my mind or body was going to stop until I crossed the finish line.
I have a question from Jonathan Galt. What is your sponsor setup? Do you work any side jobs? How do you support yourself?
I work a full-time job. I work 40 hours a week for a running tech company called Stride, actually. I have one on my shoe. It's a little power meter. My coworkers are amazing. They're really supportive of me, and I would not be here without this full-time job. I think that a lot of runners have great contracts and can afford to not have to work, but I have Beyond Tracksmith giving me clothing. I buy everything myself. I funded every single trip, including this one. And being a blue collar runner is really cool. And I think that anyone that works a full-time job can still have Olympic aspirations.
And then Allison Wade asks, do you prefer Valerie or Val?
It's a good question. I like to be called Val. In college, I always went by Val Constien. And so I think I'd like to go by that, Val Constien.
Taylor Dutch asks, you had a personal best of 9:44 in college 2 years ago. What contributed to such a big breakthrough this year?
Consistency. It's all about consistency. And being happy. For the longest time in college, I was miserable for a lot of different reasons. And mental health is huge. And so if you can figure out how to get happy and how to get a year of uninterrupted training under your belt, you can achieve anything.
Allison Wade asks, what do you do for Stride? And are they pretty flexible at giving you time off to do things like make the Olympic team? Is it like 9 to 5 work? and where do you fit in your training?
Yeah, great question. So I'm a customer support agent. So I answer emails if someone has a technical question about the product. I also help with some research and development as well. I'm kind of like the lab rat at Stride, which is super fun. And luckily my boss is very, very supportive, but I still am obsessed about like having good numbers and answering lots of emails. And so my goal is to always work 40+ hours a week, and I do whatever it takes to make that happen. So a lot of times I work 7 days a week, and I'll work like 8-hour days, 3 days a week, and then 4 days a week I'll work, 5 to 6 hours a day, just to keep my numbers up so that I can be a contributing member of that team as well.
Sweet. And then Sean asks, Sean says, Val, congrats for CU athletics. What does it mean to make the team and with a former buff in Emma?
Emma is amazing. She's the face of women's steeplechase in America. And to be on a team with her is going to be so incredible. And I think that it's just a testament to Mark and Heather, just being such amazing coaches. They just understand, and they just have a science about producing steeplechase Olympians. And so I just feel like I was in the right place at the right time, and I put in all the right work. And so it's all just coming together, which is really fun.
And Allison Wade asks, how do you expect making the Olympic team to change your life?
Well, I know it's going to, but I have such a great setup that I'm going to have to figure out how to have all these changes just add positively to my life. I don't really think that much is going to change. I still want to work at Stride 40 hours a week. I still want to live in Boulder. I still want to train with Mark and Heather. And I don't want to have to sacrifice any of that because I don't need to. I can just keep doing a lot of those things, hopefully, and still be good. It would be cool to get maybe like a contract for a shoe company, but I would hope that that would be the only change that I'd have to make.
Aaron Strout asks, did you think of this race as a race for third place going in? And if so, what was your strategy? Was there anybody you thought you'd key off of?
Great question. I suspected that this would be a race for third, because of the, Emma and Courtney they've run 9 flat, basically, both of them. And nobody else in the field, nobody else with the A standard had even come close to that, even in their personal best history. Really, I saw this as a race between all of the women who had the A standard, really, because it's a 3-dimensional race, right? And when we were shown that stuff can happen, and the people that you think that are a shoe-in can always fall down. And I don't know, I'm really happy, but I kind of wish that Leah hadn't fallen, because I think it could have been an even more exciting race than it already was.
And last question, Rich Sands asks, apologies if you've ever answered this, but can you talk about what you were thinking when Leah fell down and the battle for the third spot was heating up?
Yeah, when Leah fell down, I did see that as an opportunity for me to have an edge in the race, because falling down is horrible. It's mentally more difficult than physically, and especially during that part in the race. I'm sure she was having as much lactic acid buildup as the rest of us, and so to fall down and then have to get back up and keep going with 2 laps to go is really difficult. And I knew that that was just going to make it that much harder for her to fight for that third place spot. Like I said, I wish she hadn't fallen, because I think it could have been an even more exciting race. But the fact that she did, I think that did give me the edge to sneak into that third place position.